Yesterday, we had in the Human Rights Commission, there was an investigation into the situation that actually has happened with regard to the Express Pearl ship. So the reason why they actually started an investigation is because of the ship incidents. It's when the sea becomes polluted, when it gets destroyed, it's the people who suffer, the fishermen who suffer, and the next generation who own the corals of Sri Lanka, who own the seagrass beds of Sri Lanka, who owns the resources of the sea of Sri Lanka. So therefore, we went to the Human Rights Commission and I made a complaint that this has happened. Up to now, no lawsuit has been filed, and therefore we wanted somehow the lawyers, especially the AG's office, to initiate somehow to put a case against the Express Pearl disaster in the courts in Sri Lanka. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. So we went to the Human Rights Commission. But during the investigation, something very interesting came out. And that is that the merchant shipping secretariat, the person who represented, a hierarchy who represented the merchant shipping secretariat, said that they were not informed of the Express Pearl ship situation. Basically, the Express Pearl ship owners or even the agent or neither the captain has informed the secretariat of the fact that there was a container of nitric acid that was leaking. They have gone to two ports, one in India and one in Qatar, in order to remove the container. But they have said that they cannot do away with that because of the situation that they have. They don't have the equipment. Now, the funny thing is, knowing all those facts, the merchant shipping were not informed of the presence of a leaking container in the ship when it arrived in Sri Lanka. Now, there is a port state controller who is in this merchant shipping secretariat, who is responsible to know exactly about the ship that is arriving in Sri Lanka. Now, they are supposed to give documents to the port state control as to about the ship itself, with regard to whether the ship is in order, whether the ship has any problems, or whether there is some containers which are hazardous in nature. They are supposed to tell all that to the port state controller. But they have failed to say it. Nevertheless, the Sri Lankan shipping line has actually signed an agreement to say that they will protect the sea, that they will be honest, that they will ensure that when they arrive in another port of another nation, that they will disclose all the details to ensure that their ships are in order before they actually enter the harbor. Now, the Singapore shipping line has cheated. They have not told the merchant shipping secretariat exactly in what condition the ship is. So they have come and the whole situation has arisen. And what the merchant shipping secretariat is saying is, because they were not aware of it, that they were not able to pre-prepare. They are supposed to pre-prepare, they are supposed to have all the equipments ready, they are supposed to be planning everything, but they have not been able to do that because they have not been told. So the question comes, Singapore shipping line is very important for Sri Lanka because there are many Singaporean flag ships arriving in Sri Lanka. Yes, we have a lot of business with you, but the unfortunate situation is, even though you bring an economic gain for our country, you have destroyed our ocean, which belongs to our people, to the next generation. And this is where we are very cheesed off, because we know that the Port State Authority is established according to the memorandums of understanding within the Indian region, and there is also the Arabian region. Now, how come that the Singapore shipping line has broken it all? So the question that comes to us is, should we go to Singapore in order to file the case? The AG's office is determined. They are very arrogant about it. Even Vijayadasa Rajapaksa is very arrogant about it, adamant about it, saying that they want to file a case in Singapore. And they have gone ahead. They probably have not filed the case yet because the AG office wants another 2 weeks to file the case. And the question is, why should you go there? We have an agent here in Sri Lanka who represents the express pearl feeders. If we have a representative company here, why are we going there? Why can't we file the case against the consortium which is here, the representative here? Why should we go there? The other question is, why can't they file it here, and then if the need arises, they can remove it. If the court case in Singapore is going fine, they can remove the, they can say that they don't want to continue with it. So there are all these options, but nevertheless, they want to go to Singapore, and they know very well everything will be fine for Singapore. And this is where the bribery situation is also coming to play. Who took the bribe? I do not believe it's just a small bribe of 250 million US dollars. It may be even as much as 1 billion US dollars, which has been, how they have used the money to bribe people. So, to summarize, we are really saddened by the fact that the Singaporean shipping line has cheated Sri Lanka by not disclosing the facts to the merchant shipping and also to the port state controller. And even though they have signed all the memorandums of understanding and they are bounded by the UNEP for them to be extremely responsible towards not only the shipping line but also towards the sea, which is a natural resource for Sri Lanka. We will fight for the sake of the natural resources of Sri Lanka. It doesn't belong to us, but it belongs to our children. So the fight is not about country to country, it's about legality, it's about responsibility, it's about commitment, and more than anything else, the truthfulness and honesty.